Welcome guys to a video I've been wanting to do for actually quite a while now. Because I got a lot of clips throughout the week and I've been doing a lot of other videos. I thought might as well let's do a full week of training, especially being like 2 weeks out. Right now I'm less than a week out, and I just want to kind of put up a full week's worth of training and how I started off. This isn't fully every workout that I do, every set, every rep, all the exercise I do. It's just kind of pieces because this video would be so long if I did that. So what I started off doing was some back. Started off the week doing back, and I supersetted lat pull downs with straight arm pull downs to work my mid back and my outer lats. And I'm gonna give you guys some secrets and tips on what I do getting ready for like peak week and just pretty much how my training goes. So what I do is I started lifting heavy between weeks like 6 to 3. Between weeks 3, 2, and 1, I start to include a lot of reps, guys. Just trying to burn out the glucose in my body, so then when I do, today, which is Monday, December 7th, that I'm recording this, I actually carbed up, and my body just becomes, I just kind of seeing how the carbs are looking at me right now. I started off carb loading on Monday, and then I deplete down all the way until the show, and then I carb up a little bit that morning. But I got that from Lane Norton. He's one really, really good guys that competes on bodybuilding.com. And then next thing that we moved on to was some barbell rows. Lots of reps, guys. About 3 sets on everything I do. And then we did a close grip lat pull down. We did 3 sets of 15 on these. So I'm hitting still the middle of the back, still getting in some lats in there. And that's how I started off with doing my back session. So I did a few more other exercises, but again, this video would be way too long if I included those. So what we move on to after this is our chest and arms workout, November 3rd. We're 9 days out. What I started off doing, I only included this exercise in this video, was I did a lot of just incline pressing. That's what I'm really focusing on. I did 2 heavy sets of 6 reps, then 2 sets of 12 reps, and 1 set of 20, which was a grinder at the end. These 20 reps are no joke. It's lighter weight, but it's still very, very taxing, and you really, really get a good pump, especially when you got enough carbs in your system. My best advice for anybody that's going out to compete, try to keep your strength the same throughout most of the cut. I know it's going to change a little bit. You're going to get a little weaker at the end, but I've never been as close to as strong as I've been at the beginning of after leaving a bulk. You're at your strongest. You should be. And I've stayed pretty close to that with the end of this cut. I mean, I haven't really lost much strength. A lot of people ask me, how are your lifts? Are your, the one that suffers the most, maybe my overhead press, because I'm only getting like 135 for 5 reps, and you guys will see that. I did that on my shoulder day. My incline bench press is actually going pretty strong, about 185 pounds for 6 reps, which is good for me. I used to be able to only do like 135. Now I can do 135 for 12 reps. And yeah, guys, I just did 2 heavy sets of 6, and then 2 sets, or just 1 or 2 sets of 12 reps, and then I did 1 set of 20. But you guys are going to notice I like to still lift pretty heavy well at the end of my cut. I just advise adding in a few more intensity sets, 115 pounds for 20 reps. That's what I did. This used to be tough too for me a long time ago. 115 used to be hard on the incline, back when I was probably playing football. But I've gotten a lot stronger. Another thing I want to talk to you guys about with the cut, again, calories have been good. This was actually a high carb day. I never usually carb cycle, but I've been trying it out. It's been working for me. It's really changed up my metabolism. I noticed my weight's been staying the same. I'm probably going to go into the show, guys, around 173, 175, between there. I'll be happy because when I left my cut, I was around 185, or when I left my bulk, that's what I was at. So we're getting to November 4th, 8 days out. We're hitting shoulders. Did some front cable raises. Now with these, I really just highly advise, keeping your elbow up and keeping that tension on the front of your the front delt. Did 3 sets of 20 reps each side, so it really is good for isolation, allowing you to get the full range of motion on this. This is hard to do with a decent amount of weight, so especially 20 reps. I only did like 10 or 20 pounds on these, but yeah, I really just focusing on for shoulders. I mean, you guys are gonna notice my split too, especially with these videos. My split is like really like one body part, one, maybe 2 at most, and that's because I highly advise, especially if you're bodybuilding, physique, any type of competing where you gotta do, show off. It's like art. You have to give it every little bit of detail with your movements or whatever you're training. That's why I do, I take things slowly and I train each different body part, different days. I don't do upper body, lower body. I'll do it sometimes, but especially if my program's lagging. But I've been feeling it. Going into this last week, really low intensity. Cardio is getting a little decreased. I still advise people to train even during peak week. A lot of people just focus on posing. I still focus on that, but still gotta train. Your body's used to it. Still taking the same supplements, still doing the same thing that I do. The only thing that changes is diet a little bit, but not even that. I mean, what I really advise is getting lean all the way until like 2 weeks out, and still staying lean, but just get to that point to where you're lean enough 2 weeks out that you don't have to worry about any crazy stuff that last week. I'm still doing movements like overhead pressing, squatting, deadlifting, benching. My overhead press, you guys are gonna see, I like to do front and behind the head. That's what I did. That was my first time actually doing that, and that is tough. I can only do like really with a decent amount of weight with front and behind, probably like 65 pounds, not that much. I mean, I haven't tried more weight than that, but especially with high reps, I'm not gonna go too crazy. I don't like to go behind the head anyways. It kind of freaks me out. I like to just do front, raises, overhead pressing, and this was with the 135. I tried to go for 6, but I tried to do a little cheat rep, but I thought, might as well save it for the next set. So we went again, another set of overhead pressing. This is honestly one of my favorite movements now, the overhead press. As crazy as that sound, I used to not like it. I don't like the seated one, but I like standing overhead pressing. For some reason, I don't know what it is about the movement. Maybe because you're raising heavy weight over your head. I don't know what it is, but I feel it works the most for me. That and, well, of course, deadlifting. I don't know why those are 2 of my favorite movements. So I did kind of a pause rep for this last one. Paused it out, and then just finished off. I think I did like 1 more rep with 135. Yeah, I got 1 more, 1 or 2. 2, I guess. Second one was a struggle. Oh wait, I didn't even get that second one. Okay, and then moving on to another superset. You guys are gonna notice too, I like to do a lot of supersets when focusing on cutting and getting intensity. If you want real intensity in your workouts, add supersets and drop sets, especially when you get closer to a competition, around 3 to 1 week out. Add these supersets. I like to do supersets with front dumbbell raises. Make sure the dumbbells get about close to parallel to your forehead while keeping good tension on your front delt. and then the plates, just keep your elbows as straight as possible. Use the shoulders to lift the weight, and these were just 20 reps, lots of intensity, lots of high repetitions, and I just used a 25-pound plate for this. We're going to be going into the last workout, legs, November 5th, which was, this should be November 6th, but nah, November 5th, okay. Sumo deadlifts. This is probably one of my heaviest lifts that I can do because of the range of motion. I have a strong deadlift, so sumo deadlifts, when you shorten that range of motion, it's like almost like widening your grip on the bench, and then, you know, getting a shorter range of motion. I mean, it puts more pressure on your shoulder, but for me, sumo deadlifts, lifting through your legs through a deadlift, has been, I've always been strong at this. It's awkward feeling for most people, for me too. I really didn't know how to do it at first. I guess you just point your toes to the corners and then drive through, squeeze at the top. This was with 275. We did for 12 reps. And then I'm pretty much, you know, no belt, using core, and I lower the weight. This is like when I'm really starting to lower the intensity of my workouts. You know, I don't need to be going too crazy in the gym right now. I still got kind of sore after this too. I didn't want to be super sore after my workouts. It's just I'm looking to lighten the load of, you know, how much I'm doing. So we're going to lighten the weight for the second set to 225. After this is done, this cut, I'm curious to see how far I can take the sumo deadlift in actual weight. I think I could possibly do 405 for one rep. I mean, I can do it on a normal deadlift, so I think I could do it with, you know, sumo, a belt, chalk. I haven't been using straps, I just use chalk now. So this was the second set, just doing 12 reps, guys. Really slow, trying to focus on not bouncing the weight off the ground too, which allows me to use my legs the whole time instead of just momentum. Second set, and then we do one more set after this of 185 pounds, which was our last set, and it felt really good. It felt just, you know, light, nothing too much. On this leg workout, I did some hack squats, and then I did some lunges, and then I finished off with the Stairmaster. Cardio, again, it's been 20 minutes. I'm going to do 20 minutes today on Monday, then tomorrow, Tuesday, 20 minutes tomorrow, 15 minutes on Wednesday, probably 15 minutes Thursday, and then none on Friday, so, because we'll get our tan that day. And this should conclude the commentary for this long week's worth of training. Thank you guys for your continuous support. Appreciate it all. We're getting close, guys. Gonna be vlogging a lot more. Maybe a full day of eating before.